What happened while we were away, brought to you by The Rot Goes Deep. As optimistic as I am, and I think you should be, we got a stark illustration yesterday of just how far down the rot of progressivism and Marxism goes, as President Trump and Vice President Vance attended a so-called prayer service at the National Cathedral, where they were harangued and hectored by a literal witch. Here is Episcopal Bishop David French spewing demonic garbage right to the faces of Trump and Vance.
My master, Sauron the Great, bids thee welcome.
Whoops, strong clip.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
Okay, that wasn't actually David French. It was some witch named Marianne Budd. Trump reacted afterwards.
I didn't think it was a good service, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
They can do much better.
Moving on, the Trump administration has moved to end affirmative action in federal contracting and directed that all federal diversity, equity, and inclusion staff be put on paid leave by 5 p.m. this evening and eventually be laid off. As part of the move, Trump signed an executive order rescinding Lyndon Johnson's Executive Order 11,246, which established affirmative action and banning all federal contractors and publicly funded universities from practicing race-based discrimination, including DEI. What a massive shift. Trump was also joined by tech CEOs at the White House yesterday to announce a major private sector investment into AI infrastructure.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to hear a lot about it in the future. A new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately.
Oracle CEO Larry Ellison is one of those tech CEOs, and he explained further details about what he hopes the new age of AI will help accomplish as it pertains to mRNA technology.
Once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again using AI, in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Check this out. Yesterday at a meeting between Speaker Johnson, President Trump, and Vice President Vance, Johnson recorded Vance's first time seeing the Oval Office in person.
Margo? Hey, Margo. Good to see you. Good to see you, too. Wow.
This is J.D. Vance's first time to step into the Oval Office.
Wow.
It's incredible.
That might just be the best illustration of Vance's personal story, going from abject poverty to one of the most powerful offices in the world. The U.S. Coast Guard on Tuesday announced the deployment of personnel and equipment to various maritime borders in the United States a day after President Trump dismissed the military branch's woke DEI-obsessed leader. In a statement, Coast Guard Acting Commandant Admiral Kevin Lunday said Coast Guardmen would work to detect and deter illegal immigration in support of Trump's executive orders issued this week. Border Czar Tom Homan says he's already seeing a massive change at the southern border.
Because in 2 days, the last 24 hours, total apprehensions on the southwest border, 766. Compare that to the 10 to 12,000 Biden had at one time. CBP-1 releases, 0. CHNV, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela releases, 0. Total of 766 across the entire southwest border. That is a game changer.
More than 20 House Republicans are backing a bill that would repeal the law used by former President Biden's administration to prosecute dozens of pro-life activists. Representative Chip Roy from Texas is leading the effort to repeal the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances, or FACE Act, which has been selectively invoked to target pro-lifers who have protested peacefully outside of abortion clinics. Also this week, in the Trump executive order outlining the definition of man and woman and forcing the federal government to use those and only those terms, the White House cleverly snuck in life at conception into that executive order as they defined, quote, female means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the large reproductive cell, and male means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the small reproductive cell. And finally, you also may have heard that longtime president of Planned Parenthood, Cecile Richards, died this week from brain cancer. She oversaw and promoted the murder of at least 4 million babies and oversaw the purchase and distribution of their dismembered and maimed body parts. Here's this from the Babylon Bee. Clump of cells dies at 67. That may be the most prophetic and righteously vicious headline that outlet has ever come up with. And that's what happened while we were away.